Good evening, everyone. My name is Luca Tamburrano. I'm Chief Architect for AI in Qlik. Honestly, I haven't measured the time that it's going to take, okay? I hope I'm going to be in half an hour. It can take 1 hour. I hope that anyway you will enjoy it. I will do my best to keep it in half an hour. All right, good. So, what am I going to present to you? I'm going to present how you can extend BI capabilities using an MCP server. Now, before getting to MCP server, I will really start from Adam and Eve. And actually, I like always to start with, let's say, an impactful sentence from Gartner. I always ask AI to produce a sentence from Gartner, and it always satisfies me. Because here, Gartner predicts that by 2028, the 60% of self-service analytics users will use general-purpose LLMs for ad hoc and exploratory analysis. Now, if you think well, I mean, I'm sure that all of you are playing with AI in different domains. And you are realizing how much AI is disrupting any kind of domains. And business intelligence is one of them. Now, I invite you to notice that where it comes from Gartner here, it comes from the market guide for agentic analytics. So I know that some of you already attended, all of you probably know already what agents are, but I would like always to set up a common ground. So first of all, what is agentic AI? So let's give some definitions. Agentic AI are AI systems designed to act autonomously as agents, making decisions and taking actions on behalf of their users or systems with minimal human oversight. So you can think that generative AI is producing knowledge, while agentic AI is producing actions. Then, what is an agent? So for people that attended already the Qlik answers, this is a bit of a repetition. Trust me, I will keep it short. But an agent is an entity that performs is an autonomous unit, actually, that performs specific tasks, make decisions based on its role and goal, use tools to accomplish objectives, communicate and collaborate with other agents, maintain memory of interactions, and uses a model to answer. I know that probably people that attended the Qlik Answers workshop, they had this barber example. So I need to improvise a new one. Imagine a cook. I'm Italian, I like to cook. And imagine that I have the knowledge, I know how to cook onion, how to cook the sauce, how to boil pasta, but then I need to create a pasta with tomato sauce. That means that I need to know I have some tasks. So I need to take the pasta, I need to put it in the water, I need to switch on the fire, I need to cook the onion. No, I'm not giving you my secret recipe, actually. But let's say that I have some specific tasks. So me, as an agent, I am a cook. I can work in a restaurant where there are multiple cooks. So imagine that you need to prepare the pasta for, I don't know, 200 people. You need to collaborate with other cooks. And this is how agents can collaborate. I need, of course, to have memory, because if I don't remember how to cook, I cannot do that, right? And the model, in case of humans, is our brain, okay? In case of machines, are the LLMs, our dear LLMs. What is a tool? A tool are functions, as I said. For example, in the, let's say, in the cooking world, it can be cooking the onion. I mean, if we are going more IT, okay, it can be search, so performing web searches, generating images, generating PDFs, and doing sending emails, let's say, whatever kind of action that can be taken. So, this is again the slide that people that attended already the workshop saw. But an agent, so we said, is an entity that is defined by backstory, role, and goal. So you are a helpful assistant which can search the internet to answer questions. Consider this is one of the basic definition of agents. Of all now, the systems that we are used to work with on a daily basis. It's connected to a model, so it can use an LLM. It has a memory, as I said. And when we are talking about AI agents and we are talking about memory, imagine that one kind of memory can be, for example, the chain of interaction that you had with this. No, I don't know, when for example, we started working with OpenAI, no? So the first chat interface that we had, actually, we were asking a question, the LLM was answering, then the next question, actually, was sending the first question, the answer, and the second question. And all of this all the time. It still works like that. And this is a kind of memory. But there are more advanced memories, like skills, and I will introduce some of them. And then, of course, we said using tools. So if you are asking, what is Qlik? Actually, what it will do, it will invoke a web search that will go on the internet, will find all the latest information on Qlik, and will answer to what Qlik is. Now, I would like to introduce you a more advanced concept of memory. That is the concept of skill. What is a skill? So you can see a skill as a structured way to give instructions to LLMs to produce a specific answer. As I said, cooking the pasta can be a skill. I can know all the basics on how to do, as I said, how to fry the onion, to fry the sauce. But actually, the sequence of actions is something that I can learn. And I can also improve, because at a certain point I can find out, for example, that it's a very good practice to finish cooking. I'm going to give you some secrets now, but to finish cooking the pasta, for example, in the sauce itself, adding some boiling water. And this is, let's say, a technique that comes from Naples. So it's some kind of operational memory that you can give to agents. And actually, this is something that can be even more, you can now, going more technical, can be also some Python code, for example, that the agents can execute for performing a specific task. But now, let's go, finally, now that we set up the scene, what is MCP? MCP stands for Model Context Protocol. And basically, it's a standard that allows you to connect AI system to external applications. So actually, you can see it as an USB plug. Now, imagine that you want to plug your mouse, for example, to your computer. Your computer can be your agentic system, and the mouse can be a tool that can be used, or the keyboard, or the screen. Okay? And it's exactly the same concept. So with the MCP protocol, what you can do, you can expose to AI data sources, can be local files, databases, and so on and so forth, tools, we defined what a tool is, and even workflows, so some kind of specialized prompts that can be used for performing some specific actions. So actually, this is a schema that comes directly from the site that defines the MCP protocol, where, as you can see here, we have the different agentic systems. And now you know what an agentic system is, okay? Here you have the protocol, and here you have the different applications that can be used by the agentic systems for interact with. Can be, for example, data and file systems like Postgres, development tools, Git, Sentry, etc., and even productivity tools, Slack, Teams, Maps, and whatever. And well, on this side, now you can have different types of agentic systems, like Claude Desktop, Claude Code, for example, for coding, and many other applications. Can be also some custom applications that you are implementing. Now, since we are Qlik now, let's try to talk a bit about Qlik at this point. So here, for people that attended already the Qlik Answers workshop, you saw that basically Qlik Answers is an AI assistant that is bundled within our Qlik Sense applications, okay? And actually, it uses some agents. And these agents can interact with the platform services. Can be, for example, the entire Sense application. So the entire Sense you can see it as a little block here. But here, with the MCP server, you can expose the functionalities of Qlik to external platforms. And this is exactly what I'm going to show you now. I wasn't planning to do a live demo, but I decided to risk a bit. So here, I have also a video that I will show you. But here, so this is a Claude desktop. Okay, Claude desktop, consider that you can see it as an agentic system, because Claude desktop is an agentic system that has been implemented by Anthropic. So inside of it, there are different agents that have some specific tasks to implement. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to connect this. If the God of the demo is merciful with me, I'm going to connect it with, so here I look at that, I have many MCP servers I can connect to. I will connect it exactly to one, yes, this one, to one specific tenant. Okay, so you know that, I mean, we have our QTC platform, no, that is our SaaS platform. And in our SaaS platform, you can have different tenants, okay? You can see tenants like aggregations of functionalities for specific users or group of users. And I'm going to connect it to a specific tenant. So it should work. Okay. I'm connecting it with my hotspot. All right. Hopefully. Okay. This is another MCP server that I'm connecting to. It's not useful for this demo, but since it's asking me, I will also connect to it. Okay. At this point now, I want to make you notice this part of the screen. Because now that I connected Claude Desktop to the MCP server, now Claude Desktop has the visibility of many tools that are exposed. And these tools are basic functionalities that Claude Desktop now, so let's say that now for generalizing, our agentic system can be Gemini, can be ChatGPT, can be anything. Yeah? These are the tools that now our agentic system can use. At this point, let me go back. Okay, I know that it asked me again. Now, just to show you what tenant I'm connected to this specific tenant, okay, where I have different Qlik Sense applications, and I can ask, give me the available Qlik Sense applications in my tenant. Now, what it's going to do, you see, first of all, now it's finding some tools, is trying to understand, and now it found it. It found Qlik Search. And now, actually, you can see that it's giving me a list of applications that are there. Because actually what it did was taking all the tools that were available to it, and then based also on their descriptions, it realized that the best tool to be invoked was this Qlik Search. That is basically, you know, you can think it as an API that is invoked, so a service that can provide the LLM, so our agentic system, the list of our applications. And then I can start interacting with this. So let me show you a little video, because otherwise it takes too much time, and then I will show you something else live, because I can see that the God of the demo today seems merciful with me so far. So actually here, on the left, we have a Claude code. On the right, we have a specific Qlik Sense application, okay, called the shop. See, I shot myself this video, so it was for another conference. Now, you can see here, I am saying again what I'm doing here. Let me fast forward here. Now, here, just to show you the complexity of prompts that you can use at this point. you can say you are connected to Qlik Sense environment and have access to our sales analytics app. I'm preparing an executive update for our sales VP who is asking for the latest sales performances with the year-over-year comparison. Please do the following: provide a level overview, compare, and do many, many other things. So what I do here, I copy this prompt. Let me fast forward. And I start executing it in Claude. Now, in a while, you see, it starts finding the tools. I'm fast forwarding it because it takes quite a long time running it. And actually, you can see it starts executing tools. It starts doing the things, and at a certain point, after a while, it starts. It is how many minutes here? You see, it's 4 minutes. After a while, I have all the data needed. Let me now build the executive update. So here, it executed all the different tools for retrieving the data. And this is an important aspect that you need to keep in mind when using these systems, especially when talking with Qlik Sense. Because here, I mean, LLMs are not good for performing calculations, but are very good in orchestrating. So what it means is that we are asking a very complex question, so a very complex prompt that requires a lot of thinking, also for humans, okay, also for us. If I have to retrieve, so if I need to answer to this question, providing this kind of executive report, I need to think about it. I need to do many thinking. I need to understand where I need to retrieve the data, what data to be retrieved, how I can make a mix together and merge together all this information for providing this specific outcome. And actually here, the LLM is not performing any calculation. It's simply orchestrating the calculations that are happening in Sense. And so we are leveraging the strong power of Sense of analyzing the data, giving, anyway, the orchestration done by LLMs. So at this point, let me fast forward. And you can see that now, with some internal tools that are present in Claude Code, in Claude Desktop, it's generating these results, okay? So these results might look different if you are using Gemini, if you are using ChatGPTs, because they are using other tools for exposing this information. But actually, you can see that here. Look, you have what's going well, where we can improve, and all those information weren't calculated by the AI, okay? Well, the AI was simply merging all the information that anyway were coming from Qlik Sense. Then, okay, blah, 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 blah. Okay, here is also saying in natural language, the results. And then, can you create a dashboard in Qlik Sense for it? And here, now, let me play it at this point. What it's going to do here, it's going to take all this information. Think about the concept of memory. No? So we had our first interaction, and our first interaction came out with the specific results that are the ones that I want to expose to my VP. And actually here now, invoking the different tools. Okay, let me fast forward, it's too slow. Actually, let me go here. Yes, here. Here, you will see that it will start building, you see? It starts building the dashboard for that. The dashboard based on the results that we were asking as VP, for the VP report. And then at the end, let me show you, let me spoil the end. And at the end, you can see that we have a full dashboard with this. Yes, let me stop. Okay. We have a full dashboard. So imagine now, I was, as I was presenting during the keynote, the concept of vibe coding. So the possibility that we have to build from scratch applications using our coding assistants. That is something completely disruptive. I mean, I'm coming from the old school, so I'm coming really, I started programming at 12 years old on the Commodore 64 in BASIC. So I saw all the story of programming. And now, here, we have the same kind of disruption when it comes to business intelligence. And I think that is quite impressive. But before ending, I want to show you something, because I was mentioning skills. So I think that for your general knowledge, and actually what I'm showing you here of the MCP applied to Qlik, imagine that you can generalize this concept to any other kind of application that is exposing MCP. So the concept will be always the same. And I want to show you this concept of skill that I think is interesting. Because first of all, as I was defining what a skill is, let me go back here. Let me show, I think here, no. Oh, capabilities, here. And skills. So as I was saying, no, skills are this kind of operational memory. So how we can express, so how we can tell AI to perform specific tasks. For example, now that you are experts of MCP, the MCP can expose, for example, the MCP server can expose 140 tools. I'm not giving this number by like this randomly, because it's something like this, especially for one MCP server that I implemented. And actually, the first time that you ask questions, what can happen is that the LLM, the agentic system, will try to guess what is the right sequence for invoking these tools. But then at a certain point, I mean, after some try and error, it will find the right sequence. And actually, you want to crystallize it. And then you can say, okay, now generate a skill for me. So try to crystallize this memory of the right executions of the tools for performing a specific task. And this is an example on how you can create this kind of operational memory. And here I have one skill that is this AI readiness optimizer. So it's a skill to systematically analyze and optimize a Qlik Sense app for AI readiness, specifically for Qlik answers and Qlik MCP consumption, based on Turan Pinar, so there is one guy that works for us, 5-layer model. And actually here you can see that we have some clear instructions that we can use in our LLM. So if I'm asking, probably it won't complete before, but I just want to show you how it works. So I will say, please, I'm always polite with LLM, it works better. There are different opinions on that. There are people that say that you need to be bossy. Instead, I always prefer to be kind. Please analyze my Shopsy Qlik Sense application to measure the AI readiness. I want to show you simply something that here now you will see reading the Qlik AI Readiness Optimizer skill. This is fundamental because based on my question, Claude Code is able to understand what is the correct skill. So imagine again the pasta. I have a skill for carbonara, a skill for matriciana, a skill for bolognese, no? And I'm asking, okay, cook the bolognese. It will automatically understand what is the right skill to be loaded, as it's doing there, as it's doing here. Now, I mean, as I said, now it will take a while for doing this. And since my demo is finished, while we are having this nice thing that is proceeding, I wanted to, it's finishing. Okay, very good. Look at that. Okay, this point I wasn't expecting. The God of the demo is really merciful with me today. But you can see here that all these results are basically the application of some specific instructions that I specified using some skills, okay, using a specific skill that is applying some specific criteria for measuring the AI readiness of my Qlik Sense app, okay? And so here you can see that it's still doing. I'm very satisfied of that. I wasn't expecting it to finish so quickly, especially because it's connected to my mobile phone that is there. And this is it. So I don't know if you have any question, any curiosity, anything before getting out and taking some fresh air. Yep.
The capacity license usage.
Of course. Because you know why? Because if you think well, no, you can move data with your manual interaction, and MCP is exactly the same thing. It substitutes your hands, no, your clicks with some robot clicks that are happening by your agentic system. So absolutely yes. So let's say that every bit that you move using the standard application is exactly every bit that you can move using the MCP server. So yeah. Of course.
One question regarding data security. Mm-hmm. Because you said that you connect to Claude, mm-hmm. It's open.
Yeah.
What about the security of your data? Mm-hmm. That AI will not use it for his.
This is a fundamental question, and thanks for that. So let's divide the levels of security into parts. The first part is the access to the data of the tenant. And this is a level of security that is managed by HTTPS, OAuth 2, so all the security protocols. And this is one level. But then you rightly said, what is ensuring me that Claude Anthropic is not using my data? No one can do that. No one can assure that they're not using it. So at this point, there are some. So this is a serious problem, a serious topic to discuss. And on one side, there is, let's say, the amount of data and the data itself that you are open to share with external AI systems like Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini. So let's say Cloud LLMs. Okay. And this is a generic, let's say, it's a generic choice that all of us have. Because on one end, and I'm a big user of local LLMs, for example, of local models. No? But of course, on one end, there are local models that are somehow good, and they are improving more and more. I'm using Gemma 4, I'm using Qwen 3.5, I'm using different ones. But actually, if I want to have the performances of the top-notch LLMs, I need to use the cloud ones. So there is the first choice that we always have. This is so it's a balance. You can also decide to anonymize your data, to mask your data, not anonymize, because anonymize is something that, well, let's say mask your data. No? So you can have some kind of, and you can encrypt your data. So if instead of having the customer, Luca Tamburrano, that is living in Rome, blah, 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 no? You can encrypt it. X, Y, Z, 1, 2, 3, that then you will be able to decrypt. Okay, so there are different techniques. Or, as I was saying, you can decide to use your local LLMs. And you can use still Claude Code. You can, Claude Desktop, sorry, I keep saying Claude Code. Claude Desktop, you know that you can create a proxy, for example, that is where you connect it. I did it. You connect it with your local LLM. So you use the agents of Claude Desktop that are quite nice done, okay? But actually, it's using your local LLM. The results won't be the same. But on the other side, you will move, let's say, the balance to the security and sovereignty of your data. So, you know, it's always a balance. There is no solution. No one, no one will ensure us that all these people are not using all our data, our private conversations that we have with LLMs for training the new ones. Probably they are. Probably they're doing that. No one will ever ensure this. I mean, there are a lot of, there are a lot of also policies. For example, OpenAI, when you use the APIs, it ensures you that there is no data retention. But on the other side, Claude, when Anthropic, when they released what is called the Fable 5, the latest models, the Fable 5 and the other one, I don't remember what was the name, Mythos, they put in the license itself that they would have retained the data for 30 days. No one accepted it. Now they removed it also. It's not even available because they found out that they could destroy internet probably. But this is something now that unfortunately we cannot control. This is why I strongly believe in local LLMs. I have quite a powerful computer at home. I'm using them. I'm experimenting. But unfortunately, the level is still not the same level of the cloud ones. So it's always a balance. So we need to find out the way on how to mask our data, to anonymize our data, to use the benefit of LLMs without having, let's say, possible breakouts and possible security flows. This is my personal vision. Very long answer, sorry for that. But it was an important topic. Other questions?
Is there a tool to directly connect to the quick answers, not to the agents below it?
Why you should connect to Qlik Answers?
Because you tell us that it's powerful and good. Yeah, so maybe I like to use whole Quick Answers as my API or MCP tool. Is that possible?
So let's say this. Qlik Answers is already an agentic system. So probably I'm thinking, no, what could be a use case? Probably a use case could be being able to use the same agents that we implemented in Qlik Answers into a Claude environment. This is still not possible, to be honest, but it can be, let's say, an interesting use case. Let's say that usually when you are using Qlik Answers is because you don't want to use, for example, an external platform like Claude Desktop, relying on some other agents that have been implemented for generic use cases like in Claude Desktop, and you want instead to use something like an assistant that is bundled within the platform without having the need of having a Claude subscription or a Gemini subscription. But I mean, that could be also an interesting thing. It's still not possible, but I think that, I mean, could be something interesting. Okay, finished. Okay. All right. Okay, there is a last question. Yeah, of course.
From development perspective, have you tried to create a new application from scratch?
What? Sorry?
A Qlik application from scratch if you have business requirements or technical requirements for the app, and trying to create it in Claude Code, for example, from the beginning with script and visualization part.
Well, so let's say that I haven't tried it, but it will work. Of course, you need to first load the data. So we are not still in the part, but we are implementing it right now with our semantic layer. So what you need to start with is, anyway, an application with the data loaded. Also with no dashboards, no sheets defined. And from that, you definitely can create one application. If instead you are asking me if now from scratch I can also load the data into a new application, depending on, for example, the meaning of the data, for that is still not possible. It's still not possible because we are implementing now the semantic layer that is fundamental for doing this. Because of course, now imagine that you want to create an application. You, not an agentic, you as, let's say, business analyst or data scientist, no? They are asking you, okay, do you know, the business users are saying, please create an application that shows what are my sales performances. What you need to do, you have the knowledge where the data is, you have the knowledge of the meaning of the data in specific tables, in specific CSV files, QVDs, whatever, and then it's up to you determining which data to load into the Qlik Sense application, and then after this to build a specific dashboard. What is missing still is this part before that we are implementing. This is called the semantic layer. But until the semantic layer isn't implemented, what you can do today, you can create an application in terms of data that you are loading, okay? So you can create what in the past was called the OLAP cube, okay? So with all the information that are there, and then from there, you can definitely create sheets.
Modeling is still on the human side. Yeah?
Right now, yes.
As for visualizations, we see on the previous presentation and in your presentation that visual objects can be generated by AI. How good this generation is in terms of performance, in terms of applying best practices in designing this visualization, how they correlate to one another.
Perfect. I would say that you can proceed with two different strategies altogether. The first one that is fundamental, and I also answered to a very interesting question from the guy there. First of all, the actions of AI are better if the more context you give them. Okay, so for example, in terms of sense applications, for example, can be the definition, the business definitions of measures, dimensions, the creation of business glossaries. Also, how you ask for the questions is one thing. Okay, and then the second thing is 1 second before I forget the second point now, because I was concentrated on the first one. So one is the context, and the second one, sorry, I forgot now, I'm losing the point. I'm tired a bit, sorry for that, is, because you were asking how we can improve this. Yeah. Now remember the second point. The second point is what I was saying about skills. Because what you can do, so on one hand, you refine the context. Okay, so you give the more context you give, and the better answers you will have. On the other side, you start controlling, for example, what it does. No? So you ask for something, it will generate a dashboard for you. But then you realize that, for example, for that specific use case, you shouldn't have used a pie chart. You should have used a stacked bar, for example. Then what you do, you refine the skill. You ask it to, instead of generating a pie chart for that specific use case, to generate a stack bar. You crystallize it into a skill. And then in this way, you refine, you build some kind of memory layer that will allow you on the next iterations to have a better result. So it's all an iterative process. And then at a certain point, once you achieve a specific performance, so you have some kind of threshold, no? And you say, okay, now it's answering correctly. Then you can start assuming that it's answering correctly. And then there will be always space of improvement. But this is like with humans. So we have to start thinking about that. It's like with humans. It's not that deterministic anymore. So we need to help the machine that is this kind of, let's say, this kind of entity that has the complete knowledge of the humans, because actually they've been trained with all the human knowledge on internet. But we need to teach them exactly what we want to achieve from them. And so this is a way, as I said, just to answer again to your question, context, so the more context, and then with the different iterations, crystallizing what you want. So the machine is not doing that. You correct it, and then you say, okay, now generate a skill or update my skill in order for you, machine, to not to repeat the same mistake when I'm asking you the same kind of question. And this is an iterative approach that will allow you to start relying more and more on the answers without, or controlling less and less. And I want to say without controlling, because it's something that is scaring me again. Hopefully, did I answer to your question? Okay, good. Okay, Natalia is looking me very badly, so I think that I need to thank you, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed that.